I want to go like do 3 maps and find an Astrumentus, a headhunter. Oh, hello?
I'm Jonathan Rogers from Grinding Gear
Hi,
Games.
Jonathan.
And today we're here to showcase a new expansion for PoE 1. It's certainly been too long since we had one of these. Now, we had some struggles as a studio for a little while there.
Is that loud enough?
We've got our shit together, and we're back in action now.
Got our shit back together.
Path of Exile Secrets of the Atlas is coming out 1 week from now on the 13th of June. And we're committing right now to a 4-month cycle for both PoE 1 and 2.
Hell yeah, brother.
That means the next PoE 2 League will be in August, and the next PoE 1 League after that will be in October. Twitch drops are enabled on today's livestream, so you'll be able to claim your Skull of Undeath helmet skin by following the instructions below. This Skull of Undeath will track and show your total number of kills, deaths, and your KDR. Just because Path of Exile isn't a first-person shooter doesn't mean this isn't important.
Wait, it's not?
Proudly or shamefully, link it to your friends or in global chat to show it off. And with that, let's get to why you're here. Secrets of the Atlas.
You can search 1,000 worlds and still never truly discover who
That's not Zana.
Trust me. I should know.
Those look like synthesis bookcases is all I'm
But
saying.
now, I seek something more tangible. Someone I care for. Trapped within the Atlas.
Oh, it is Zana.
Reliving memories. Made real.
What have you done?
Made grotesque.
Bro, what?
Made foul.
So wait, is this actually Synthesis 2? Zana edition?
These manifestations must be destroyed. Their threads must be...
That was an Arbiter attack if ever I saw one.
I must have answers. We must find the originator. We must save my sister.
He had 2 kids?
The power is an illusion made real.
King's March updates. They're doing more to Masteries?
Drink deep the waters of life.
You're either a client or a target.
Target inside!
The D4 mercenary system? What the fuck is that? Oh, that was the mercenary equipment. D3 mercenary system, I meant.
Your sanity is not promised to you here.
Bro, what the fuck?
Hi, I'm Mark Roberts.
Hi, Mark
Game
Roberts.
Director on Path of Exile. As you just saw from the trailer, there's a lot to show you. Today, we will take you on a deep dive into the new Path of Exile Secrets of the Atlas endgame update. Then, we'll explore the new Challenge League, the Mercenaries of Trathus. After that, we'll cover the integration of gold into PoE 1 and how we're bringing Settlers of Kalguur into the core game.
Settlers to
Finally, we have a
core.
much-awaited upgrade to Betrayal League and a set of quality of life improvements.
Ayo, new
Then,
races?
we'll wrap up by discussing our boss kill race event,
Or is that just the League
showing you
Star
our
one?
new supporter packs, and ending with a live Q&A session where Ziggy D will ask Jonathan and I
Damn
your
it.
questions from Twitch chat. In Path of Exile Secrets of the Atlas, strange rifts have begun to appear across the Atlas. Zana has returned and appears to be trapped within. Partway through the endgame, you will meet Egan, an intelligent man of mysterious heritage.
It's not
These
mysterious?
tears in reality he has discovered are actually threads of memory, distorted and made real by the Atlas. Egan is able to create a link to these memory threads and open portals to them. Working with Egan, you must step through and find Zana, or whatever remains of her. Okay, so that's the story background, but how does this expansion actually work?
Well, tell
In the
me, Mark.
Secrets of the Atlas, the pursuit of Zana with Egon is a new storyline that is introduced in high-tier maps. Upon meeting Egan and discovering the tier, he will then transfer it to your map device and reveal this on your Atlas, a thread of memories.
Ah,
In
like
order
Atlas
to
memories.
now access each map on the thread, you simply need to talk to Egan when you're ready, and he'll open the areas in sequence. These areas can be fully influenced by your Atlas tree, scarabs, fragments, and everything of the sort. As you work your way along the thread, you will discover that these maps have manifested dangerous threats, influenced by the memories of Zana herself. Monsters here are imbued with memory petals. Defeat them to absorb this power, which can be unleashed as a special ability during combat. Different maps on the thread have different abilities, and these abilities appear on an additional mini skill bar next to your regular skills. For example, Memory of Disbelief will cause all affected monsters to stop dropping equipment items, meaning they can now only drop more valuable items, like currency and maps.
That sounds a little
Memory
like
of Panic will make all
Sentinel.
affected monsters revive immediately after death, which means you can get twice as much experience and drops from them. And Memory of Impatience will cause all surrounding enemies to give you their souls, temporarily increasing your power. As you progress further into the thread of memories, the maps can have more than one memory, and thus you can have more than one powerful ability. As you gather memory petals, you can use these powers together. Each skill costs its own amount of memory petals. So using the examples above, you can first use Memory of Impatience to become way more powerful, then use Memory of Panic to prepare them to revive when they are slain, then use Memory of Disbelief to cause them to drop better, more valuable items.
Damn,
Finally,
100 subs to the Path of
obliterate
Exile
them
channel.
all.
What the fuck?
The Memory of Panic will kick in, causing them to revive, and then wipe them out again, allowing you to get all the experience and enhanced drops twice.
Bro, they gotta get a loot
There
filter
are
on
many
this.
combinations of these powers, so you'll have to carefully consider how they best work together. That's not the only extra layer of content juicing these maps offer. As you defeat the boss of each map along the thread, you are presented with an altar. This altar will apply a modifier to all following maps in the thread, and these will stack as you go. So the
Oh.
deeper you delve into a memory, the more mods you will have. This, combined with the special abilities, will allow for some of the most juice maps ever run in Path of Exile. Let's take a look
That's
at some of the
a
ultimates.
brave statement.
You are always presented with two choices and must pick one. This mod, for example, will cause some rare monsters to be possessed by tormented spirits, where this mod makes Kerak modifiers free to craft. Both of these apply to all subsequent maps in the thread. The final map in each thread is a true challenge, with all the Ultra mods applying to it and guarded by a powerful boss. Each of these bosses are familiar, but dreamlike, drawn from Zana's memories.
What the
and warped
goober
by the Atlas into
innocence.
something very different and terrifying. In this
That
map,
looked
you
manageable.
will fight the Pinnacle Boss, Cirrus. Fueled by Zana's affectionate memories
Put that
of him,
back.
his
Get rid of
enhanced
it.
abilities can prove to be a unique challenge. If you manage to defeat Cirrus, or one of the other warped memory bosses, they will drop a map fragment, which Egan can use to delve deeper into the memory tears. With these, you can access a set of 3 new Pinnacle Bosses. In this arena, the Moment of Reverence, Zana is reliving a memory of her father, Valdo, giving a passionate speech in Oriath. The Atlas distorts this memory of her father as a powerful, influential man and manifests those emotions into a
Goodness.
twisted nightmare, the incarnation of dread.
I mean, it makes sense that that looks like
Another
Shaper's
memory
bullet hell
created
shit.
is the incarnation of neglect and the incarnation of fear. Good luck, exiles. Of course, if you are brave and strong enough to defeat them, each of these new Pinnacle Bosses have new unique items befitting them.
What is that?
If you slay the incarnation of fear, you might be lucky enough to find the Star Caller unique Abyssal Axe. We're going to
Spicy.
show this one because it's straight up badass.
Hell yeah, brother.
The Starcaller Axe is a
Oh,
weapon
shit.
that can harness the power of the stars themselves
Hello?
to deal immense damage. What makes it shine, however, is that on melee crit, it casts Starfall.
On crit,
a
not
new
even kill or
skill.
anything.
With the right build, you can carpet entire areas and wipe out screens of enemies as you rain down the elements upon them. Another
That's
item
crazy.
you may find and this one is my favorite, is the Wine of the Prophet unique flask. It consumes a lot of charges, but every time you use it, you draw a random divination card. This card appears above you and correlates to a powerful buff.
Oh?
If you draw the Escape card, you'll gain increased movement speed. Or maybe you'll draw the Doctor, which will cause you to gain the modifiers of slain rares you kill. Effectively, you can think of this unique as being many other uniques all in one. There are many cards to draw, each with
Certainly it's not all of
varying
them,
degrees
though,
power
right?
to grant. Okay, but let's get back to the Atlas. After defeating all 3 new Pinnacle Bosses, you'll be able to find new memory-influenced Tier 16 maps. These maps come with the previously mentioned special abilities and monsters infused with memory petals, but can also roll the same modifiers typically found on Tier 17 maps, making them far more rewarding.
I don't know how I feel about that.
With all these new memory maps comes a new item mechanic. Items in these maps can drop with memory strands, and will have a random amount, up to 100. This does a few things. When you identify the item, it will increase the tiers of modifiers your item has. Generally speaking, the more memory
sounds
strands, the better the item will be. On top of this, whenever you're crafting that item using currency orbs to replace or add modifiers, such as alterations, chaos, and so forth, it will consume some memory strands to make the crafted mods more powerful. The new Pinnacle Bosses also drop new crafting currencies, which can be used to manipulate the amount of memory strands on an item. The Orb of Remembrance will let you add memory strands to any normal equipment. So if you have your perfect base to craft on, and it doesn't already have memory strands, you can add some before crafting it. The Orb of Unraveling will consume all remaining memory strands on an item to randomly upgrade its mod tiers. This orb's effectiveness is based on the number of memory strands it consumes. The Orb of Intention can be used on memory influence maps to reduce item drops, but improve the chance to find items with memory strands. In the process of adding these new currency items, we realized something was missing. The Shaper and the Elder did not have their own Exalted Orbs. This has now
they
been
just
rectified.
noticed?
Both bosses now have Exalted Orbs, which
Nice.
can add their influence to an item. Zana was there from the beginning, when the Shaper Pinnacle fight was first added. She helped defeat the Elder, and she was a critical part of the Conqueror's storyline. Now, with all 6 influence types having their own Exalted Orbs, the cycle is complete. It's almost as if we could now do some sort of new, epic, unique item to interact with them.
With all 6 of them?
In other news, there of course has to be Atlas passive tree support for this new endgame content.
Yeah, because
Let's
this
take a
isn't
look
the
at a
League,
few
it's
things
just
we're at.
actual content.
The Grasp the Past notable passive skill increases the chance for the amount of memory strands on items dropped in your memory influence maps to be lucky.
Oh.
This means it will roll the number of memory strands twice, keeping the highest value. By allocating traumatic experience, remembered kindness, or educated upbringing, you'll decrease the chance of finding memory threads that lead to specific bosses, meaning you'll have better chances at finding the memory threads you would like to run. This is especially useful if you want to target farm a specific boss because of its unique item drops. In sum, the secrets of the Atlas will have you questioning what is real as you attempt to free Zana from warped memories scattered throughout the Atlas. You'll fight new Guardian and Pinnacle bosses tormenting her, find crazy new Pinnacle uniques, combine and unleash memory petal-empowered skills, juice maps to new heights, and craft powerful new items. While we were showing all the juicy rewards from the new endgame system, you might have noticed that a lot of gold was dropping. Let's talk about that.
Let's talk
Gold
about
was
it.
introduced during the Settlers of Kalguur expansion. It funded the development and operations of King's March, along with various new features such as the currency exchange, the black market, and the passive respec system with Faustus. Those features offered by Faustus will be here to stay,
Let's
along
go.
with some of the other services King's March has to offer. We'll get more into that later, but don't worry, King's March has already been completed. There will be no more town building.
No.
Like before, gold will be used for town services, but we're also adding a new way to use it in the upcoming league. It's time to talk about Mercenaries of Trathus. In this league, you will meet veterans who have travelled all the way from the lawless cities of Trathus. They're ready to offer their sinister services, but not for free. You will encounter these mercenaries as you journey through Rayclast, one in each area. They have their own personalities and come with different builds, skills, and items already equipped. After meeting them, as per the Trathan code, they will challenge you to a duel, a test of strength and conviction. Before beginning the duel, you will be offered an overview of the mercenary you've encountered. Here, you can see the gear they have equipped, the skills they employ, and any support effects augmenting those skills. You must now make a choice. You can hire their services, take one of their items, or exile them.
Bro, we get to exile
hire
people?
them, for a gold
That's cool.
cost, they will accompany you as a skilled combatant to assist you in fighting monsters throughout Rayclast. Once you've decided, you can begin the duel. This is a great opportunity to test them, as you don't want to be out of pocket with a useless rookie. However, they're testing you too. They also don't want to be working for an amateur. So, what items might they be using? Generally speaking, mercenary gear is more powerful than what you'd normally find
What the
from
hell?
defeating monsters, as they've been crafting their items too. They can also come equipped with unique items, those that would make sense for the skills they are using. There are even some new unique items that can only be obtained from defeating them. One such unique is Scornflux. These boots combine agility with the mastery of the arcane. While equipped, increases to cast speed from Arcane Surge also apply to movement speed.
That's actually
which,
hilarious.
worth noting, is now 20% inherently from Arcane Surge, up from 10.
Oh, just
They
double
also
Arcane
grant
Surge.
Arcane Surge when you use a movement skill. This allows for some speedy spellcasters. Sometimes you may meet particularly infamous Trathan mercenaries, bearing the name of their house. These mercenaries descend from the 4 major death trade families in Trathus. They are less common, but have far better items. And they are also the sole source of items with new, infamous modifiers, unseen before in Rayclast, such as these gloves, which convert all of your minions' fire damage to chaos damage. Or this helmet, which causes nearby enemies to take more physical damage as you gain more fortification. If you're not swayed by any of their equipped gear, however, you can always challenge them for the contents of their pockets. If you lose the duel, don't worry. You don't need to give them an item. You aren't bound to Trathan tradition like they are.
That's
However,
right.
you are bound to Rayclast tradition, so you'll just die.
Almost had me. Well, not really.
Sounds about right.
While playing in a party, each player can decide whether or not they want to participate in combat against the mercenary. For each player that opts in, the mercenary gets more difficult. But if they're defeated, each player has a 50% chance to get a random reward, which is usually currency items from the mercenary's pouch. Alternatively, party members that opt out of the fight can spectate and cheer you on. Or they might wish for your demise. So
Bro,
they
there's
can
just
pick
a
up
divine
their
orb sitting there. Pick that.
allocated divine
Pick it
waiting
up.
on the screen.
Pick it up.
Good.
Yeah, they also had a loot filter there.
Let's say you won the duel, like their items, and have decided to hire them. What combat skills do they bring to the table? Each mercenary has an archetype. Here, this mercenary is an Eruptor, which perfectly
Hey, yo.
couples with my slower,
Pause.
more aura-focused Scion. This mercenary is highly aggressive, and will get a lot of benefit from the auras and buffs I provided. When I'm playing a more aggressive character myself though, I'll want a mercenary with a bit more resilience and utility. I've just run into a Striker, who can spawn with Vigilant Strike.
So is it
And if you're
just
lucky,
for the zone?
a very rare golden support that causes the fortify granted by his Vigilant Strike to apply to me as well.
That's nice.
He will also frequently use Enduring Cry, taunting enemies off of me, and operating as a tanky frontline while I blitz off damage from the back. Sometimes when you fight a mercenary, you may notice the skills they're using are different from normal. For example, this sniper is using a Trathan version of Siege Ballista, If you're lucky, you will be able to select it as your reward when challenging them. Then defeat them, and they'll drop the Trarthan gem as promised. You can only have one mercenary accompanying you at a time, but up to 3 total in your service. The other 2 will wait patiently in town. Having varied options is useful, as there may be situations where you need specific backup, like a difficult boss fight. Any of your mercenaries you have active, or in your reserves, can have their equipment replaced with items of your choosing.
Can you steal their items?
So you will want to be looking out for more skilled and more powerful mercenaries as you advance through the campaign and endgame. If your mercenary falls in combat, you will need to return to town and spend some gold on healing supplies to get them back on their feet. Then perhaps consider giving them some upgrades, if you think it's deserved. I just wanted to clarify, mercenaries do not lose their equipment when defeated.
Whew, I was worried.
If your merc buddy consistently fails you, you can just dismiss them and find a new, more resilient ally.
Yeah, where's their old item go if you give them new stuff?
I'll walk mine.
Earlier, I mentioned you could exile mercenaries. If you keep running into a mercenary archetype and you think, man, this guy stinks, the gear is trash and they have no auras, you can then choose to exile them. If you win the duel, they'll be forced to leave with their tail between their legs, and you won't encounter that archetype again for a while.
9 encounters, I see.
Now, alongside these new Trarthan arrivals, we shouldn't forget about the recent Calguran ones too. As we mentioned earlier, the Settlers update introduced gold-based respeccing of passive points. You can now do so by talking to a number of NPCs throughout Rayclast, starting with Bestil and Lionized Watch. Black market item gambling, previously just available in Kingsmarch, is now available in each town at the same NPC. This lets you buy randomly generated item bases for gold. Very useful if you're stuck for upgrades or searching for a specific unique. The currency exchange will be returning too. Starting from Lionized Watch in Act 6, you'll be able to find Faustus, who can help facilitate these trades. Now, after almost a year of building, Johan is finally satisfied with the upgrades made to the town, and now its services can be used to their full effect. Kingsmarch is going core, but there will be no more town building. As you start running maps in the endgame, you'll start to find different ore veins, which Calguran workers can mine for you. The shipping mechanic invites you to send these ores and crops to Karui and Calguran ports, and they'll return rewards in kind. By sending shipments, you'll receive different items, but by sending to Karui ports, you will also receive tattoos, which can be used on your passive tree to change what stats they grant. The Calguran ports will be sending back rune grafts, which is a new passive tree mechanic that replaces the runesmithing service previously offered by the town. These are similar to tattoos, but instead of replacing stat nodes, they replace a passive tree mastery node. For example, Runegraft of the Bound reduces bonuses gained from boots, but increases bonuses gained from gloves.
I thought he said boats.
Runegraft of the River has a chance to recover your life to full if you reach low life. And the Runegraft of Time, which has a chance for your cooldown skills to instantly recover from their cooldown, which I will note includes cooldowns on your triggers, just in case you wanted to trigger even more spells.
That's great.
There are many other Runegrafts which cover a wide range of different builds and stats. Some are more common and others rarer. You can only use one of a given type at a time, but you can use them on any mastery on your passive tree, which can be particularly useful for off-class investment. Isla has continued to make modifications to the Recombinator. She has developed a new method of recombination that you may recognize from Path of Exile 2. For those unfamiliar, this method allows you to decide which modifiers on the 2 input items you want to try merge together, and it has a success chance you can see. This method can result in the items being destroyed. However,
I'm okay
it is
with
a good
that.
option to use when
The old
trying to
Recombinator
create
way
items
was
with
fucking
fewer mods
nonsensical.
to use as crafting projects. Given the existing recombinating mechanic was very powerful for top-end crafting, we didn't want to remove it. We have kept it, and you can now choose to use it the old way or the new way. By letting fate decide, it will combine
That's
the
crazy.
two items randomly. There is no risk of destroying either item, but it will be less predictable. As Settlers is now a core mechanic, we've also added Atlas passive tree support. For example, if you wanted to gather more Verisium ore, you could take this notable. Each ore has a similar node. Refiner's Bargain
They
converts
changed the art in
items
the
dropped by
background?
possessed monsters into thaumaturgic
Kinda
dust,
looks like they did.
sulfite into random ores, and life force into random crops. We've also added a set of Calguran scarabs, so you can add more ore deposits, increase the rarity of monsters that guard ore deposits to at least magic, or gather smelted bars from ore you mark instead of ores. To sum it all up, Kingsmarch is now a thriving town where you can employ a swath of workers to collect resources, refine ores, craft items, and run maps for you. Send shipments of resources in exchange for tattoos and rune grafts, using those to modify your passive tree to an extent never seen before. Following on from that, we've also made a substantial rework to another important mechanic, Betrayal. As a refresher, and to explain to new players, let's briefly explain what Betrayal is. Betrayal is a mechanic introduced in Act 9 and tells the story of Jun Ortoy and her investigation of the Immortal Syndicate. This is a mysterious group of exiles who can seemingly come back from death. You
What?
must help Jun to uncover their leader, the Syndicate Mastermind. The Immortal Syndicate is organized into 4 divisions: transportation, fortification, research, and intervention. As you encounter the Immortal Syndicate members, you'll gain intelligence for each of these divisions to discover the location of their leaders, tracking them to their safe houses. Defeating the division leaders at their safe houses will reward you with intelligence on the Syndicate Mastermind. In your journey to track down the Syndicate leader, you'll manipulate the members of the Immortal Syndicate to change divisions, form friendships and rivalries, and even banish them from the Syndicate for a time. Historically, after encountering and defeating the Syndicate Mastermind, the state of the Immortal Syndicate would reset, requiring you to start from the beginning of the investigation again.
Ew,
This
gross.
has always been a difficult decision for players and can often feel bad.
Damn
Do
straight.
you fight the Mastermind for a chance at the special loot, or keep farming the safe houses that you've spent so long setting up? Well, in the Secrets of the Atlas expansion,
Oh, what's
we've
that?
split out the Mastermind to be completely separate from the core mechanic. The boss is now accessible through a new
Itemized
fragment that
Katarina.
has a chance to drop from the safe house leaders at high levels. The
Huge.
Mastermind no longer resets the state of the Immortal Syndicate. You can now build your Betrayal board to your liking, optimize it, do Mastermind fights, and reap the rewards without having to lose all your progress every time.
Actually huge.
The boss fight itself has also been improved, now with significantly fewer immunity phases
Let's go!
and new rewards. By the way, if you're a new player to Path of Exile 1, don't worry about all this detail. This content is optional, and you can discover and engage with it at your own pace. The Mastermind still has a chance to drop a Veiled Orb, now renamed to Veiled Exalted Orb. Veiled Chaos Orbs are being re-added to other safe house leaders. In addition, the Mastermind now drops the new All Flame Embers. All Flame
What?
Embers are map fragments that replace monster packs in endgame maps with different types of special monsters. These packs have unusual properties, compositions, or rewards. For example, you might use the All Flame Ember of Kulamak, which replaces packs with Syndicate monsters and their leaders, who revive after the map boss has been slain. This might at first sound annoying due to backtracking.
That was the
but
first
these
thing I thought
monsters
about.
when revived are far more intense and rewarding. It is our intention with All Flames to provide many different types that combine with
it's
other
like a-
mechanics, multiplying with your existing modifiers in new and interesting ways.
Like a scarab. So there's no
Another good
interface.
example of this is the All Flame Ember of Propagation. When slain, special rare monsters added by this All Flame here will spread their modifiers to other rare monsters in the map. This can be useful when trying to create
Interesting.
singular, very powerful, and very rewarding monsters. Something akin to meat sacks, which are making a reinvented comeback with this update too. Another is the Orflame Ember of Resplendence, which adds monsters that drop no items. But when you slay them, you get buff stacks of increased quantity and rarity to enhance the drops of all other monsters. Orflame Embers can be placed in your map device like scarabs, and used in conjunction with scarabs.
I'm kind of glad they do that instead of using the old
We're looking forward to
system.
seeing which combinations players find to enhance their maps. Perhaps you'll use all scarabs, all Orflames.
Let's
or
go.
maybe
What's up,
mix and
Nate? How you
match.
doing?
It's up to you.
It's looking pretty sick so far. I don't know if you've been
Customized
watching,
unique
but
items
damn.
have also been improved. The veiled modifiers generated on these items are now from a custom pool exclusive to those uniques. Bitter Bind Point, for example, can now have various Spectre-specific outcomes,
Well, that's nice.
such as +1 additional Spectre.
Just a
Aside
whole
from
free
improved
Spectre.
rewards from the Mastermind, all the Safe House rewards have also been rebalanced. We've done a pass on the crafting sprees at the end of many safe houses.
Let's go.
Those who
Guff may
aren't
be
aware
useful
how these
now.
Crafting sprees work. Well, it's simple. There's a crafting bench with an item in it and a bunch of currency. There's a limited amount of time, and your only objective is to
Excuse
craft
me.
the best item possible before the time ends. One of the problems that the crafting sprees have is that they often require you to have specific items on hand in order to best maximize your result. But how are you supposed to know that beforehand?
For
In
real.
order to solve this, most of the crafting sprees now offer pre-generated items. This has
Wait, most
also
of them?
allowed us to add much more powerful crafting options in each spree. Let's
Oh.
take a look at a few examples.
Well, so much for that one.
In this spree, a randomly generated amulet or ring will be
Oh, you just
waiting.
get a Calandra thing? That's sick.
Test your crafting skill or luck with this Reflecting Mist crafting spree, and see if you can create something worthy of Calandra's praise.
Fuck it. Good enough. Yeet that shit.
And in this
It-
spree, you will
it got
find
shit
a
on.
pre-generated unique item, and a new kind of orb that resembles a Val orb,
Hello?
but not quite the same. Normally, you can only corrupt an item once, but uniques in this spree can be corrupted and re-corrupted as many times as there are orbs.
That's actually insane.
This orb also allows you to get 2 corrupted implicits, and has a much lower chance to brick the item. It can be a very useful tool for seeking specific corrupted implicit outcomes. Of course, if you push your luck, you can still ruin the item.
They do be like that sometimes.
There are also crafting
There's no
sprees
way
where
I'm
you
gonna
still
do
need to
anything
provide
other
an
than
item,
click
but
all
those
of the
items are
times when I
generally
get
more
that.
accessible, and it occurs less frequently. This one allows you to bring your own normal rarity item, then just go ballistic with a whole ton of scouring orbs and orbs of chance, hoping to get your ideal unique.
Okay.
For most sprees, the rank of the syndicate member increases the amount of currency provided, the quality of the pre-generated items, and the time allowed to craft your item. Aside from the crafting sprees, there are other new options too. If you love gambling for currency, how about you try opening Varici's Emperor's Luck chests? These work just like the Emperor's Luck divination card and provide full stacks of currency.
Well, that
If
would
you're
be
lucky
nice.
enough, unlike me, you could end up with a whole lot of divines.
Not a full stack of mirrors?
Betrayal is a good source of veiled items. Veiled items have some important quality of life improvements in this expansion too. All of the crafting bench options normally granted by unveiling items are instead now moved to the core game, so you don't need to run Betrayal to unlock them.
Actually huge.
They are instead found at the entrances to boss rooms and endgame maps. On top of that, you no longer need to speak to Jun to unveil items. You can just right-click them.
I like Jun,
or the
but like,
equivalent
yeah,
on
that's a
gamepad,
huge improvement.
And select which veiled modifier you want to unveil. Overall, Betrayal is now much more streamlined and more rewarding. Happy interrogations.
Give me
Shut up!
Yay! I'm gonna be honest, I sit there and I watch that every time.
Now, before we get into our quality of life additions, let's quickly talk about some character balance.
Ooh.
We will be doing our regular character balance changes, where we are bringing outliers in line to help evolve the meta, but we are also focusing our attention on buffing some specific things. This includes spellcasting supports that specifically enhance self-casting builds, channeled spells, adding new options to the Guardian, Berserker, Elementalist, Saboteur, and Champion Ascendancy classes, which include some favorites from some of the alternate classes from Legacy of Frisia, and buffing a whole bunch of transfigured gems that never really hit the mark. Combined with the new endgame crafting, improved betrayal crafting options, rune graphs for your passive tree, new Pinnacle unique items, new modifiers and Trathan gems from the Mercenaries, and of course the Mercenaries themselves to act as an extension to your character, it's safe to say there's a lot of new character options and builds to think about. Instead of delving into all of these in more detail, we figured we'd just let you absorb them through the patch notes so you can do it at your own pace.
Before the Ziggy D interview?
In the Atlas expansion, we've also added a lot of the quality of life features that we know you've all been asking for. A lot of these have already been posted, but let's take a look now in case you missed any. You can now pause the game at any time by pressing escape to open the menu.
Huge.
Or by opening any full screen interface, like the passive tree. You'll also be paused if any lag is detected or if you disconnect. It's worth noting that in certain Pinnacle arenas, a debuff will be applied to you that prevents you from pausing. We're also making a change to how you use currency items on strongboxes and monsters imprisoned in essences. Based on the currency in your inventory and the state of the strongbox, these buttons will appear. Valuable currency like divine orbs have been excluded from this as it would often be wasteful to use in this context. The same applies to essences,
that's good thinking.
remnant of corruption
I wouldn't have
currency.
thought of that.
Orbs of Horizon have been updated. They can now reroll your Elder and Conqueror Guardian maps.
Actually,
Doing
huge.
so will reroll the base map and the Guardian of that map.
As the Seth enjoyers
The map
rejoice.
device now has a small additional inventory.
All players
This
rejoice.
is particularly useful if you're rolling many maps to run in sequence.
When they did the
Or
Freesia
if you
event
want
and
to
they
use
showed the
varying
little
amounts of scarabs
inventory
or
thing
other
for the
map
scarab or
fragments.
for the idols, I thought that's
During
what this
breaching
was.
encounters, all the splinters
I
will be
thought this is what that
automatically
was, and then they were
collected
like, oh yeah,
at the end of the
idols.
breach.
Breach is
On
huge.
gamepads, we have separated the targeting of monsters and non-monsters, so you are able to target them independently. This removes a bunch of frustration when you are trying to interact with objects in the world and monsters are nearby. You no longer have to kill all of them first. Vendor windows will now remember your last search. This is remembered until you log out and is remembered on a per NPC basis. The amount
Let's
of
go.
characters you can type in the search field has also been increased.
It's
When
250
using
characters,
currency
by the way. I
items,
think my
after
camera's blocking
right-clicking
that,
them,
but
it will highlight all other
Regex
items with
enjoyers
currency
rejoice.
being used on. There are many other quality of life improvements, so keep an eye on the patch notes after this livestream concludes.
okay, so it is
Alongside
after
the launch
the
of
event.
Secrets of the Atlas, we are hosting a competitive event where players will race to be the first to kill the new Pinnacle Bosses. The event will take place in the hardcore, solo self-found Mercenaries of Trathus League. We have some interesting prizes in store for the winners.
Hardcore
Keep an eye
solo
on the news in the
self-out.
lead up to launch for more details about how the event will work and what its prizes are. Next up, we're going to be talking about our new League supporter packs.
Supporter
Today,
packs?
We're launching 2 new series of supporter packs, the Frisian Magistrate and Crypt Keeper packs. Each tier contains the pack's full face value in points, alongside several exclusive microtransactions. As always, the microtransactions in these packs are purely cosmetic and do not affect your character's power or progression in any way. The Frisian Magistrate series of supporter packs contains 6 exclusive microtransactions.
Yo, is that the spite? Is Alala Marina?
Frisian Magistrate character effect will bind your character in thorny vines and roses. You can select which parts of the character you want to have covered. Either
Oh.
your entire body, your lower body, or your upper body. As you approach waypoints, it will emit leaves and golden petals towards it. When activating the waypoint, it will create a burst around you. Envelop your weapon in thorny vines and golden flora with the Frisian Magistrate weapon effect. Your weapon will also create a trail to match as you swing, and even comes with its own hit effect when slaying enemies. You are the law while wearing the armor of the powerful Frisian Grand Magistrate. The Spider Blossom pet activates its defense mechanism, disguising it as an elegant flower when near rare or unique enemies. The Frisian Imperial Magistrate back attachment comes in 2 forms. Equip either the Tombstone variant, which will leave tombstones in your honor when you meet your demise, or equip the Cape variant to cause the corpses of slain enemies to become enveloped in rose thorn vines and blossom with golden flowers. Keep track of how well, or poorly, your ultimatums with the Trial Master have gone with the Trials of Chaos hideout decoration. It will
Whoa.
keep track of the total number of waves completed, the total number of ultimatums succeeded, or even failed. On top of that, it will track the total number of times you've defeated the Trailmaster himself. The Crypt Keeper Pack series also contains 6 exclusive microtransactions. With the Crypt Keeper finisher effect, death itself will tear through into the realm of the living and steal the soul of slain unique enemies. The Crypt Keeper portal effect creates a gateway for lost souls to pass through.
That looks pretty sick.
Become the true master of the undead by wearing the hallowed Crypt Keeper armor set. It comes with a more armored helmet variant and a creepy mask with a spectral hood.
Bro, that's just a solo leveling thing. Don't even try to lie.
Have some fun during idle time in your hideout? The Burrowing Bramble Bash hideout decoration will test your reaction speed as you try to whack as many Devourer heads as possible in the shortest time. It also comes with a scoreboard, so you can try to set new records to show off to your friends or just visitors coming to trade. Equip yourself with the Ghostly Dead as you ride the line between the living and the dead.
Bro, how do you min-max the Whack-a Devourer so I can just like terrorize people's leaderboards when I go trade?
A magical library with the works of scholars that come to life when you open a map. This map device tracks how many of each core league you've completed in in-game maps.
Damn.
These packs are now available for purchase on both PC and console.
Right now?
And will remain so during Path of Exile, Mercenaries of Trathus.
Bro, I still can't get over it. It's a Lala Arena and we got solo leveling MTX in
will be made available for use in Path of Exile 2. Meanwhile, the Paladin and Penance packs leave the store forever at the launch of the Mercenaries of Trathus League. So now's your last chance to purchase them. Additionally, the Dawn of the Hunt mystery box will be made available for Path of Exile 1. If you have already unlocked any microtransactions from this box in Path of Exile 2, you will of course immediately have access to them in Path of Exile 1. Thank you so much for your ongoing support. We're just about to start the Q&A with Ziggy D. Afterwards, we'll post the full patch notes for Path of Exile, Secrets of the Atlas.
We have to wait for the Q&A.